paid.
Go.
Go? Oh, is this taping?
Yeah.
God. Well, there's a lot of secular worldviews. Nonviolence. Like, for example, what would be justifiable? Collateral damage, for example. Or what is acceptable in terms of a just war. Okay? And if we look at World War II, for example, the Germans and the we should say both groups bombed civilians. According to the Catholic Church moral, that would be, no, that is not justified. Now they had a general called Bomber Harris, and Bomber Harris said, if you kill the workers, they cannot have industrial military might, so building ships and planes and that kind of stuff. So if you want to slow down the war machine, kill the workers. And so that would be against the Catholic view, but it was certainly, as secular view, that was what everybody did. We did that, and you might recall, of course, maybe you don't, we bombed Tokyo and started a fire, and the fire killed more people than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So the fire bombing of Japan, Tokyo, actually had better results in terms of killing people, which is a terrible thing to say, but better results than Nagasaki and Hiroshima, which were the atomic bombs. Then you can go into other things like, we did have that speaker. Are you all first-year students, I take it?
Yeah.
So we had a speaker last year, Immaculée, and I'm sorry to say Immaculée has an African name, so I do not remember her last name, but she wrote a book called Left to Tell. Now, there's two different, let's say the secular view would be an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. You're familiar with that scriptural passage? So, in her case, her father, her mother, and her brother were killed in violence in Rwanda. Now, you probably might have heard, at least, the Hotel Rwanda.
Is she the same person that spoke at the graduation last year?
Correct.
Yeah.
She was very good.
My sister graduated last year.
Okay. Yeah, that was...
yeah, my sister graduated last year. Just talking about the same person.
She was a very good speaker, and to my surprise, I don't know if I would have had the same Christian value, Catholic value she had, forgiving those people. Now imagine if 3 people in your family were killed, and she forgave them. Now we have, of course, capital punishment, which is, again, a secular view, and most American Catholics are in favor of the capital punishment, and for varying reasons. But you can see that the capital punishment is an acceptable punishment within the American society. Within the Catholic faith, we are against capital punishment. Some people are in favor of euthanasia, where it's mercy killing. And you can, I think it's in Oregon or Washington, but I think it's Oregon, where they have, it's legal. I think in England they were discussing, I don't know if they've moved to legalize, but that would be assisted suicides. And of course, this is probably before your recollection, but they had a doctor, Kevorkian, Dr. Kevorkian, and what he would do so that he would not be accused of participating, he would put an IV in the patient, and if you press this button, you yourself cause poison to go into your system. Or if you picked another, you had to physically push the device that would activate a drip that would put poison into your system. So that way, Kevorkian could not be accused of assisting, although he would insert the IV and give you the equipment so you could draw whether or not you believe in that. So depending on what you mean by secular values, there's a whole lot of stuff. Do you have any particular questions you might fire away?
Cults, right?
Yeah.
What about cults?
Cults. Well, there's all kinds of cults. Some lesser, some greater. Now, the one that I'm thinking of is, I don't remember, it had to do with the Halley's or Bob Comet.
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate. And thank you. And people were thinking that there was aliens coming behind the meteor, and that they, this was the end time, and so that they would go first to the kingdom. I don't know whether they were Christian, but they believed in an afterlife, I presume, and that they committed suicide, so that they would be the first to go to this thing. So some cults are brainwashing, and some cults, like they had different things, like the other one I remember was, I don't know if it comes under the headline of cult, but it certainly was cult-like, was, what's his name? He's still in prison.
Charles Manson?
Charlie Manson. Charlie Manson, yeah. And he had all kinds of disciples. Now, I don't know that that was actually under the cult. It was considered a cult. It was just kind of a group of people. But there are some cults that do that. And even beyond cults, there might be, and this is where I show my lack of knowing the fine distinctions between these groups, but let us say like in Yugoslavia, you have people that are ethnic cleansing. That's not a cult as such, but they believe that these people are inferior, or their beliefs are inferior, and therefore they need to be erased. And certainly Yugoslavia, we've seen that in Uganda, we've seen that in Cambodia. So there's different, I think Cambodia wasn't so much, it was political more than religious beliefs. So there are cults. I think the cults tend to brainwash people.
What are your opinions on the Indianapolis cults? No, I'm just kidding.
They truly have brainwashed. Of course, it's not the cults. Of course, that started, if you were a real Colts fan.
No, I'm not a Colts fan.
That's Baltimore Colts.
Yeah.
And those people have not forgiven, in particular,
moved.
John Elway. Because John Elway was supposed to go to the Colts and make it a good team, and he said, if I have to go to the Colts, I will not play football. And so, obviously, he didn't go. He went to, as you were all familiar, he went to Denver. So, yeah. Other questions?
I think we're good.
You're good.
We're good.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Now, who's your teacher?
Dr. Wilbright.
Wilbright. I like Meg Wilbright, yeah. She's a local girl, too.
I'm still taping you, so if you have anything nice.
Meg is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I don't know if she still bike rides, but she was in great shape. She was a great bike rider.
He has a crush on her.
I am not a great bike rider, but she was a great bike rider. Yeah.